My husband and I have been married for 6 years and we've been together for 8 years. Let's call him Eric. He is 30 years old and I am 28 years old. Eric is a really intense person, but he's a good man. He feels his emotions very strongly. If he's sad, he feels really sad. If he's angry or happy, he feels those emotions strongly too. He's also really into the things he likes and cares about. He has a specific way he prefers to do things in his life. None of these things have ever bothered me. When we started being together, I saw that he wanted to have sex more often than I did. At the beginning of our relationship, I liked the excitement of pursuing each other and feeling loved by someone I care about. But over time, the excitement about sex decreased. I used to have sex with him even when I didn't really feel like it, just because I love him. I'm not very interested in sex. I'm not sure why, but it's how I've always been. He didn't talk about any issues with this until somewhat recently. I want to add that right before we got married, we had a conversation about having children. I don't really have strong feelings about having kids, but he doesn't want them, so we decided not to have any. In the past year, I haven't really felt like having sex at all. I went to the doctor to get checked, and they said there's nothing physically wrong with me, but they suggested I talk to a therapist. I haven't done that yet. I haven't even been able to have sex with him just for the sake of having sex, like I used to. Around 4 months ago, he sat me down and we had a serious talk about all of this. He told me that he really needs to have sex, and I said I understood, but at the moment, I can't give that to him. We argued for a little while, and as a result, he ended up sleeping on the couch that night. The next morning, he brought up the idea of us having other relationships outside of ours. This made me feel very sad. He explained that we could either give this a try or decide to end our relationship. After thinking about it, I agreed to give it a try. We set up some rules. The other person should never come to our home, we shouldn't talk about it, we need to use protection every time, and we should get tested regularly. He agreed to follow all of these rules. I was actually surprised by how okay I felt as time passed with this arrangement. Even when he would text me that he'd be coming home late, or when he'd give me a kiss and share his plans for the night. It was like a weight had been lifted from me. But yesterday, my husband sat me down once more and said he had something really hard to share. He told me that he's been seeing this one girl for a few months, and she's now expecting a baby. I think I felt a bit distant because I could hear him talking, but I couldn't really understand the words he was saying. When I snapped back to reality, I asked if the baby was his and if she intended to keep it. He said yes to both. He wants to be involved in the child's life. I also asked him who the woman was, and he told me. It turns out I know her, not very well, but I recognize her. They got to know each other through a person he works with, and she used to date that person. I've met her a couple of times before, and she's always been kind. She's really beautiful. However, I don't know much about her on a personal level. I'm not sure how much they talked in general, especially after she and his coworker broke up. I don't understand why he chose her. Maybe there was a connection between them that I didn't know about. I never brought it up before. I'm feeling completely shattered. I haven't talked to my family or friends about this yet. I asked him not to tell them either. I even asked him if he wants us to get a divorce, but he didn't say no. He's leaving the decision to me. I'm not sure anymore if we really match or if we both want the same things. He used to say he didn't want children, but now he's actively involved in her pregnancy and planning to help raise the baby. I'm ready to put effort into fixing our marriage. To me, that would mean he stops being involved with her and we close the relationship. But I can already predict how that conversation will turn out, considering the situation. So I'm wondering, should I accept my losses and move forward, or should I give our marriage another chance? I'm really not sure what I want. Part of me wants to keep working on our marriage, and another part of me just wants to be on my own for a while. He's the only man I've ever been in a relationship with, and my first serious one at that. I don't have any experience with love and relationships outside of him. We're getting a divorce. Yesterday afternoon, he came home and we had a really long and emotional conversation. I asked him things that I didn't ask before when he first told me about her pregnancy. He confessed that they didn't use protection. He told me he hadn't slept with her before we decided to have an open relationship, but they did share kisses. He mentioned that she's the only person he's been intimate with. He explained that the night before he presented the choice between an open relationship or divorce, during our argument about sex, he was trying his last chance to motivate me to work on our problems. He confessed that he should have just asked for a divorce instead of suggesting we open the relationship. He also mentioned that I have some responsibility for our marriage falling apart, and I agree with that. I asked him if he remembers whether I've always been like this, and he said that during the first 1 to 3 years of our relationship, I was excited about having sex even if I didn't have a strong desire for it. He admitted that he hasn't been in love with me for quite some time, and he's fallen in love with this other woman. I asked him why he suddenly wants to have children, and he explained that his feelings about having kids have slowly changed over the years, but he never talked about it because our relationship was already so damaged that it didn't seem to matter. He believes that I didn't go to therapy because of my parents. They're quite traditional and religious, and they think that if you pray earnestly, God will provide the answers. He thinks that I might unknowingly dislike therapy because of their influence. While I might not be the cause of his communication issues, I am accountable for not going ahead with therapy and for not communicating effectively with him. I questioned him about why he didn't decide to divorce me when he realized he wasn't in love with me anymore. He shared that he still loves me, although he was in love with me before and wanted our marriage to succeed. He admitted that when he started getting closer to her, he felt like it might be too late to fix things between us. But there was a part of him that wasn't ready to end our relationship, even though he never expected to fall in love with her. He then asked me if I still loved him, and I replied that I wasn't sure. He said that likely means no. We both agreed that getting a divorce is the best choice for both of us, a decision that will be better for ourselves and for each other. We also decided to make the divorce process as easy as possible. I suggested selling the house, and he agreed. He mentioned that he'll move out before that happens. He said that anything he leaves behind can be kept or sold by me. We didn't talk about things like alimony during our conversation. I'm planning to let my lawyer and his lawyer handle that part. I'm not entirely sure if I'm eligible for it since I have a decent job, and based on what I've read, in my state, this might be enough for a judge to say no to alimony. Unfortunately, the house is under both of our names. We've been sharing the costs of living together, and he has taken me out to dinner and given me flowers on special occasions like Valentine's Day and my birthday. We've also gone on vacations, and he usually pays for those. Maybe I didn't explain this part clearly before. Every month, both of us contribute a set amount of money to our shared account. We use this money to cover expenses like the electric bill, internet, phone bill, and other things that need to be paid. We also save up for house improvements. Right now, I'm feeling kind of numb. I don't think I have the energy left to cry. I still haven't talked to anyone about this. He mentioned that he's going to wait until we involve lawyers to let people know. He thinks it might become complicated with our family and friends once they find out about the situation. I know some people online wanted me to criticize him, but I can't do that. I want things to be as calm as they can be, and I just want this to be done with quickly. I'm trying to figure out why my interest in sex is so low or gone, and once I understand that, when I'm ready to date again, I'll search for someone who matches me better in that way. I'm thinking about learning more about asexuality. Maybe I'll join the subreddit here and read what others share, and perhaps ask for some advice there. When it comes to alimony, I'm unsure, I might not even pursue it. The house we both own is worth around $1 million if we sell it, so half of that would be a lot of money that I'm not sure how to handle. I'll just talk to a lawyer and see what they suggest. Anyhow, that's everything. He's gone now, and I'm lying in bed, still trying to understand it all. Surprisingly, I don't feel angry at him, and I don't hate him. I decided to make a promise to myself to contact a therapist on Monday, and I'm going to stick to that commitment.